Hello, everyone. It's time for Vanishing Island Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. This is episode 355, season 15. Today's date is August 20th, 2024, and welcome to the show. Yes, it's good to be back after a week. On today's program, I'm going to talk about my visit to the Oakbrook Terrace Historical Society that featured a lot of memorabilia from that suburb, and also Dispensa's Castle of Toys and Kiddie Kingdom. And I'm going to talk about that. My visit there. It was a lot of fun. Also, I'll talk about my memories of watching game show host Peter Marshall, who hosted the Hollywood Squares, and he died last week. Also, there's some notable deaths that happened as well, and I'll mention those too. Right now, the program will go into a commercial break. This program is brought to you by Sara Lee Walnut Layer Cake. Oh, that sounds delicious. Here's a commercial from 1976. Yeah. So sit back and relax, and I'll be right back with the show, folks. Thank you.
Ate the Sara Lee, who ate the piece that I saved for me, who just couldn't resist, who ate the Sara Lee.
Sara Lee Walnut Layer Cake. What makes it so exceptional? An exquisitely creamy whipped frosting crowned with rosettes and laced with walnuts inside and out. One of 6 irresistible layer cakes.
Nobody can resist Sara Lee.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Sara Lee Walnut Layer Cake. That cake, I remember this cake. You know, if you like walnuts, who doesn't? I don't know. They're crunchy and they're good for you. So, I don't think they make it anymore. I haven't seen it. You know, my mom makes something similar like that. She makes like, and it's with no frosting or anything like that. So it's plain. So that's good. And not as sweet. I'm sure that one's sweet. So I guess one of the most popular flavors for Sara Lee in the past was banana. People love the banana cake. Oh, they go crazy for that. I don't know if they make it anymore, but Sara Lee's still in business. They still make cakes, coffee cakes especially. Okay. All right. At the beginning of the program, I mentioned that I'm going to talk about my visit to the Oakbrook Terrace Historical Society. I had a tour of that place, and it featured also memorabilia from Dispensa's Castle of Toys that was located in Oakbrook Terrace. Also, I'll talk about my memories of watching game show host Peter Marshall on the Hollywood Squares show. Before I get started, I'll give you a health status real quick. I'm doing okay. I'm doing fine. Tomorrow, I'm going to visit the oncologist. I have an appointment. I'm not sure what he's going to say. We'll see. He's got test results. So all I know is my PSA has been falling, and my calcium is falling. So I don't know if he'll take me off to one of the 2 medications. I seriously doubt it. I'll probably continue. They make me very tired anyway at night, so that's hard. Then Friday, I have another appointment. This is the second Zometa fusion. It's an injection that lowers the calcium. That's not so bad. That lasts about a half an hour. And probably the third one will be around Thanksgiving. So that's up to him. We'll see what happens, but it is decreasing. I noticed my glucose is borderline, so I got to watch my sweets. It's hard. It's tough. I have a sweet tooth. A lot of people do. I eat one sweet a day. It's hard like that, but don't overdo it. But it's hard to do that. It's hard to resist. Like that. Oh boy. I want to mention something else. Phil Donahue passed away on Sunday night. I will not talk about him today. I will talk about him in the next episode because I'm going to cover his career and my memories of him. So I will save that for the next episode. Just to remind you, don't be discouraged. Yeah, he will be on. He'll be featured. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about my visit to the Oakbrook Terrace Historical Society. I had received a message from someone, one of the people that do the tours, and he contacted me. He says, "Would you like to come visit? And I'll give you a tour of that." And I said, "Yeah, sure. That sounds great. Sounds fun." And I love Dispensa's Castle of Toys, even though I never visited that toy store. No, I never had a chance. First of all, it was far away from my house when I was growing up. My mom didn't drive that all the way there. I wish I did. That would have been something. Of course, it opened in 1967, and it was in business from 1985. And then the amusement park opened in 1975 and until 1984. And it was one of the largest independent freestanding toy store in the world. And it was like it got a lot of attention because it was shaped like a castle, and it had toy soldiers in front like that. It featured Kiddie Kingdom, had over 30 rides, games, mostly for kids. Remember the advertising, like rides were $0.25, 4 rides to $0.25, 6 rides for $1. I think that's how it went. I don't know. I forgot. Like that. So it was a very popular place. And a few rides that were featured there at Kiddie Kingdom was the Scrambler, the Tilt-A-Whirl, the Skyfighter, Might Mouse. I think that's a roller coaster. Antique Autos, Youngster Yachts. They had the merry-go-round like that. And according to the website, the family business started by Nick Dispensa. He was an Italian immigrant, and he purchased a Ferris wheel for $1,500, and then it evolved into Dispensa and Sons Complete Carnivals. And Nick's son, John, was at the age of 12 left school and worked with his dad. And then in 1951 they purchased the site, which is Route 83 and Roosevelt Road, by the commercial, like that. And so what was famous about this was the commercial that aired in Chicago, usually around the Christmas season. So we know how the jingle goes. Like it's Dispensa's Castle of Toys. It's a castle. Dispensa's Castle of Toys. It's a toy store. Dispensa's Castle of Toys. It's tremendous. Come to Dispensa's Castle of Toys, Oakbrook Terrace, Illinois. When I visited there, I forgot to ask who wrote the lyrics. But it's Illinois. Illinois. Yeah. Also, here's Kiddie Kingdom's jingle. So it's kids are king at Dispensa's Kiddie Kingdom. Fun's a thing at Dispensa's Kiddie Kingdom. Exciting rides to make you yell and holler. Any ride $0.25, 6 for $1. This eventually became 5 for $1. And then Dispensa's Kiddie Kingdom. Let's go. So that was fun. Okay, anyway, so they also advertise in newspapers and all that. And, they got out of the carnival business, so they want to settle down just a toy store. I think so. When I visit the Historical Society in Oakbrook Terrace, I met John Dispensa III, who was the grandson of John Dispensa. I think Nick was his great grandfather, and very nice man. Very nice man indeed, and he explained a lot about the history and all that. So I took the tour with a man. His name was Bob Shanahan, and he took me around the. It was a house. It was built by Sears, by Homart, in the old days, like in the 1940s. And Homart stand for Homan and Arthington. Those were the streets that had the original Sears headquarters. And they used to build homes, and there are not that many around in the Chicagoland area, but that one was, and it was built in the 1940s. And it was beautiful. They had the original, they tried to live it up like that. So Bob took me a tour, and it was very nice. Then I saw the Dispensa's Castle of Toys memorabilia, lots of it. There were cups, T-shirts, shopping, tags. Or there were some toys. They had a Cabbage Patch doll, not with the box. There was like model cars, with the price tags on them. The price stickers. That is, it says Dispensa's. What else they had? Also from Kiddie Kingdom, excuse me. They had that. And so that was fascinating. I asked questions later on, because I was so in awe of looking at all that. And they also had a shopping cart handle. It was cool, like that. Also, there was a very funny funny thing I saw. They had an article where there were 3 soldiers, like the toy soldiers, in front of the castle, and one of the heads was missing. It was decapitated, and it seems like some kids sawed it off and took it, and then they threw it somewhere nearby. It's kind of gross. Thank God they found it. And there are people out there in Chicago or elsewhere in the United States have from the memorabilia, and even from the castle in Kiddie Kingdom, So we had a nice afternoon, and it was wonderful. I loved it. I really had a good time. I really did. And there's a photo of me and John Dispensa III together. You can see it on social media. And so it was, like I said, it was a nice afternoon. I enjoyed myself. So I love going to places that are historical, especially when it applies to Van Chicagoland. So, I wish I went to this store. Also, Kiddie Kingdom. I wish I went there, but I never had a chance. It's a shame. There were some famous people that visit there, local celebrities, like, for example, Cookie the Cook. Cookie, like Cookie the Clown. He was there. There's a picture of him hanging on the wall. Like that. The commercials, you can find them on YouTube. There's a couple of them. Now I'm going to play one of them. It's not from Christmas. It's from 1975. Like the one I just sang. So I'm going to play that. It'll take you back to a beautiful time, an innocent time, where you had nothing to worry about, and like I said, it was beautiful. Okay, so here's a commercial for Dispensa's Castle of Toys from 1975. When I come back, I'm going to talk about Peter Marshall. Okay, so sit back and relax and enjoy it. Thank you.
Girls and boys, come and see the greatest toy store in history. Dispensa's Castle of Toys.
It's a castle.
Dispensa's Castle of Toys.
It's a toy store.
Dispensa's Castle of Toys.
It's tremendous.
Come to Dispensa's Castle of Toys, Oakbrook Terrace, Illinois.
Big savings. Hasbro Spellbound just $9.88 at Dispensa's Castle of Toys.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Dispensa's Castle of Toys. That jingle is wonderful. Everyone in Chicago who grew up during that time remember it, and they still remember it to this day. So there were times I visited Oakbrook Terrace and I see the building that replaced it. That's the DeVry headquarters, and then there's nearby is the Drury Lane Theater in Oakbrook, and it's kind of sad like that. So that's a shame. They should have kept it like a museum, in that part. No, I guess not. Okay. Right. Before I talk about Peter Marshall, I'm going to mention a couple more deaths that happened. One was Jenna Rollins. She was an actress. She died on August 14th. She was famous for Gloria. You remember that? And also, they were directed. A few were directed by her husband, actor John Cassavetes, if you remember him. And she was great in that. The one movie that people remember her recently, or well, not recently, is The Notebook. I have to admit it. I have never seen the movie. And my brother's yelling at me, "You got to see this movie." I said, "Okay, I'll go see the movie." So. It came out 20 years ago. So I got to see the movie. Okay. I heard it's excellent. So, yeah, she was a fantastic actress. So, my condolences to the family. Also, there was also Jack Russell. He was the lead singer for the rock band Great White. And you remember, they started like in the 80s. And he was famous for two songs. Once bitten, twice shy, baby. Do 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 do. And he had like white hair and he had a light complexion like that. And also the other song was "Rock Me." I like that song, and it was great. But then so he passed away on August 7th, and he had dementia. So that's sad. Yeah, it's very sad. And so, and also one more, I forgot to mention one more notable death was Craig Kidd, who had the Greg King band. Their famous song was the breakup song that came out in 1981, right? When I was in high school, and also Jeopardy in 1983. I lost on Jeopardy. Yeah, he was a great singer like that. His video for Jeopardy was a big hit on MTV. Yeah, they used to play around the clock like that. And I like that. And then, Weird Al Yankovic did a sequel, like it was spoof. And he goes, "I lost on Jeopardy." That's a shame. He too also died from Alzheimer's, and he was 75. That's a shame. That's terrible. Like that. Okay. Right now, I'm going to talk about Peter Marshall. I grew up watching him as a kid. My earliest memories of him when I was about probably in grade school, when I lived in Roseland, in the Roseland neighborhood of Chicago, up on top of the shoe store, my dad owned. And that was on in the morning, I think Channel 5. Yeah, I think so. And the object of the game of Hollywood Squares was, it was like tic-tac-toe. Only you used television stars. And it was fun and I remember how the show goes. And when you had the introduction of the show, they introduced all the stars and like that. And I was anticipated. I was so waiting to see who would appear like that. And mostly they had different ones every week, but they had the regular ones. Like, for example, they had Wally Cox, Rosemary, Charlie Weaver, which he was Cliff Arquette. That's David Arquette and Roseanne Arquette's grandfather. And he wore this funny hat. He was a funny man. Let's see who else they had. Sometimes Marty Allen, if you remember, with the big hair. He was hilarious. Paul Lynde was in the center square, but he did not appear at first. Marty Allen was, I think, in the center square. And so when Paul Lynde appeared on Hollywood Squares, his popularity just zoomed. He had these one-liners, and they were hilarious. When Peter Marshall asked him a question. I remember a couple. One was, Peter Marshall asked, Paul, well, what's the one thing that goes, everybody's doing it, everyone's doing it, and he said, voting for Romney. He meant for Ronald Reagan. I like that one. And the other one was, when you have something you throw over your shoulder for luck, well, what do you throw? And he says, oh, your skirt. And he starts laughing himself. It's hilarious. But I heard off behind the scenes, he was very bitter and, mean like that. He had problems like that, but he was one of the funniest men I ever seen. He really was. He was very talented, and he made the show gold, like that. Peter Marshall did that too, but Paul Lynde did that too. They got along fine, there were some rocky times like that. I remember one time they did it in Las Vegas. I remember watching that show. So the show started in 1966. And then it ended about in the 80s, early 80s, Then Paul Lynde died in 82, and then, it wasn't the same. So Peter Marshall, before he hosted Hollywood Squares, he was a Broadway actor. He was a comedian. He teamed up with someone named Tommy Noonan, and but his real name was not Marshall. It was Ralph Pierre Lecoq. And his sister was Joanne Drew. She starred in a lot of westerns like that. So then Peter Marshall appeared in sitcoms. I remember him on the Lucy Show, and then he got the job as Hollywood Squares. I have the book. There's a book out, and it's like what he wrote about his experiences on the show. And I think I remembered one of the people that wanted the job was Dan Rowan from Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, but he didn't get the job because they were still together and they were planning on putting Laugh-In on, a couple of years later in 1968. So Peter Marshall got the job. I know maybe according to the book, he didn't want the job at first. That's Peter Marshall, but then he got it, and then he glad he did, and he enjoyed it tremendously, And so that was great, Also, Hollywood Squares aired like on WMAQ TV, Channel 5. Also, it was syndicated. So I think the syndicated one ended in Channel 7. And it was like Sunday night at 10:30. I used to watch that. It was either that or I would watch Monty Python on Channel 11. Or I watched the when movies were movies on Channel 9. I did that. So that's what it was. And after Hollywood Squares, he did some acting roles, and then he just retired. But he's best known for that, the Hollywood Squares, not for other credits. That's just hard for it. So right now, I'm going to play a commercial that Peter Marshall's in, and it's for Kellogg's, the variety pack. This is from the mid-1960s. I think this is before Hollywood Squares. Yeah, and so I found it on YouTube, and I uploaded it. So sit back and relax. And when I come back, I'm going to wrap up the show. Okay? Thank you, everyone.
This is a bowl full of fresh, crisp cereal. Kellogg's Corn Flakes, 1 bowlful to open when you're ready. Or Kellogg's Sugar Frosted Flakes, 1 bowlful to open when you're ready. You choose the time to open them, and you choose the cereal from Kellogg's Variety. Many Kellogg's favorites. Kellogg's Variety, complete with all 10 packages. Easy to get at your grocer's.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed a commercial for Kellogg's Variety Pack featuring Peter Marshall. It's still around, but it's those variety packs, but it's different. But I remember when I was little, they used to come and they were wrapped in plastic, and they had the snack pack, variety pack, and I forgot what the other one was, but there was also the jumbo one. You know, they had the different kinds of cereals like that. When I was a kid, I was fascinated by the colors and the types, you know, with the characters outside. That was nice. That's a nice memory of looking at those. Okay. So Peter Marshall died at the age of 98, you know, last week. He lived a long life. You know, he was on Twitter. Yeah, he was very active for a while, and I followed him. He tweeted to me once, and very nice man. You know, he replied to one of my tweets. Now it's X. I don't know what you call it now. Posts. So it's like that. So that's great. Yeah, that really was. My condolences to his family. Okay. That's it for this show. I'm going to do a wrap up of what I talked about today. I talked about my visit to the Oakbrook Terrace Historical Society that featured memorabilia from Dispensa's Castle Toys and Kiddie Kingdom. Also, I talked about my memories of watching Peter Marshall on the Hollywood Squares game show. And I mentioned the notable deaths that were Jack Russell from Great White, Greg Kihn from the Greg Kihn Band, Jenna Rollins, the famous actress. Did I forget somebody else? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I know I mentioned that Phil Donahue passed away Sunday. I will do his episode next time. I promise. I will talk about him. You know, my condolences to Marla Thomas and the family. You know, he was a wonderful man. Great show. Yeah, I remember watching him. This podcast will be published later on today, wherever podcasts are available. Like, for example, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. Just tap on the app on your devices. Just tap follow. You'll get the latest notifications. Also, you can listen to previous episodes if you like. Also, be published on my blog, vanishchicagoland.blog. You can click on the link. Also, it'll be on my YouTube channel. Again, people still ask me, where do I find your podcast? Where do I find your podcast? You can find it on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in the search engine, type in Vanish Chicagoland Stories, the podcast, or my name, Pete Costanz. You will find it. Click subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. And then you'll receive notifications of the latest episode. You can listen to previous episodes as you like. Feel free. Also, be sure to have my social media accounts, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, Reddit, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok. I think I got them all. If I forgot one, I'm sorry. So I'm glad to be back. You know, it's been a long time. You see, last weekend I had a busy weekend because I had my class reunion. You know, I'll talk about that next time. You know, I'll go into further detail. You know, and I had the church festival, so I had a wonderful time. I was exhausted. Oh my God, so much activity for a person my age. But it was fun. Okay. So, a couple of people asked me when you're going to do the Ray Rayner project, and I said very soon, hopefully soon, maybe around Labor Day. I will write a story and then I'll create a video. Yeah, I won't forget. I got plenty of time, so I will do that. Okay. So this is Pete Costanis, your host for Vanishing Hollywood Stories, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day. It's nice out. It's not raining. So I heard next weekend's going to be hot. Ugh. No good. And I'm done with the hot weather. And hopefully we'll do a podcast this weekend. If not, probably next week. We'll see. Also, I'll post an update of my visit to the oncologist tomorrow on social media. I will let everyone know. I'm sure everything will be fine. Okay, so here's bye-bye for me, and here's a little traveling music from Ray Rayner saying bye, bye, bye. Take care, everyone, and so long.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.